Hi, this is Val, and this is Harvest for Jesus too. Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with being targeted lately and just, wanting to give support to people who are targets and watch this channel because it's not something that most people can understand, what we go through. And I just wanted to kind of share like some of this journey with you to just, you know, let you see, what's going on. Sometimes that helps other people to just know that they're not the only ones that are going through this. They're not crazy. This is really happening to people. And also, I wanted to talk about, just some of my experiences lately with people and just my mental state around all of that. Um, I've always tried to be very transparent on this channel. I'm not trying to pretend to be anything I'm not. I'm certainly not perfect in any way, shape, or form. And being a targeted individual is like the most challenging thing I've ever gone through. It is emotionally and physically, spiritually, financially, socially difficult. I mean, it attacks every area of your life, and I I've been struggling. I've been struggling with feeling crushed by the weight of it. I think coming home to my hometown, my home state, it's a double-edged sword. It's a mixed bag. On one hand, I appreciate the beauty of the state, the cool temperature, the gorgeous trees, the wildlife, the familiarity of it. But on the other hand, the challenge is being here and being, homeless, living in my car, and knowing that if I tried to even scratch the surface and share what I'm going through, I'm faced with people thinking I'm crazy, people either not believing me or thinking I'm crazy, or both, just not understanding and rejecting me. I've felt a lot of rejection lately, and it's very, very difficult. I was in a coffee shop, and I was at my regular spot charging my phone, and in comes this guy, I came in the second time, and there's this guy there sitting in the spot where I'm normally at, and it's usually totally empty. And he's right in my spot charging his computer where I usually charge my phone, wearing the color that they use to color block me. And so, I let him know I needed to charge my phone and that I had some work to do. I was like getting ready for my last video. And so then later, I think it was the next day, I bumped into him again, but at a whole nother spot. And it was at the same time I was feeling something getting aimed at my head, some kind of a directed energy type of situation. So I turned, and there he is. He was in kind of a covered little space outside of a business. It had a bench, and it was like not completely closed in, but it had some plexiglass walls on like 3 of the walls or something, the brick wall, and then like 2 walls or something, I don't know. But I went over and I explained the situation that, I kind of was wondering about bumping into him twice in that manner, and I explained to him what gang stalking was. I told him that he was wearing that color, and he basically tried to brush it off like I was crazy. But he said he was homeless, and he didn't seem to have much in the way of anything. I mean, he was just sitting there with like a backpack and a computer, and he said he was taking some classes. So I offered him some food. He said he didn't want any. I came back the next night. He did want some, and I gave him, like, I don't know, hat, gloves, socks. And then the following night, I had found out it was his birthday. Okay. I bought him a Bible. I asked him if he wanted a Bible, and he said, okay, yeah, I'll take a Bible. So I went out and bought him a Bible. And, they cost a lot of money now. If you get a decent King James Version Bible, you just can't find them everywhere. You have to spend $15 to $20 on a decent Bible nowadays. And I got him some highlighters in a little bag for his birthday. And so, I kind of gave him a few more things, some more food, some more water. And I gave him $20. And I said I'd come and check on him. And just to see if he was doing okay, because I was kind of worried about him. Because I'm like, is he stalking me? Is he just, a homeless guy? And, who knows? And so I was so disappointed. I showed up the next 4 nights in a row. He wasn't there. And not only was he not there, but he left some of the food I gave him and the Bible. And it's you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I tried, and I don't know if it got thrown away or what happened. Then I finally got the courage, after being here for 2 months, to contact 2 people that I thought might be a source of friendship, a source of comfort, open arms, listening ears, just compassion, empathy. And, one of the people I found out, sadly, she wasn't home, but after I did a quick Google search, she just went down the wrong road with this whole QAnon thing, and her life is totally in chaos over it. And it's sad, and I really pray for her. And it's just sad. And her husband didn't want to have anything to do with me when I came to the door. So I was like, okay, sorry, I didn't have her phone number. It's been years since I talked to her. And I just, then I left a phone number at my, it was kind of a friend of a friend's house. It was it was actually my sister's ex-fiance. My sister passed, and he was a really, really nice guy. And I just thought, we had spent a lot of time together with my sister before she passed, and I got to know him and his family, and I thought he might be open to understanding a little better. And he called, and then after I was talking about my story for about 20 minutes or so, he said he had to go, and good luck with that. And basically just didn't want to have anything to do with me. And this is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. This guy did so much for my sister and was her knight in shining armor. And just after I told him what I was going through, I probably sounded completely crazy. And it's either you're crazy or this is really happening and I don't want it to happen to me, so goodbye. People, it's either that they either believe you and don't want to have anything to do with you because they don't want to be targeted, or they don't believe you and they think you're crazy, and all they want to do is tell you to go see a doctor, you know? And it's very isolating. This situation is extremely isolating. Today I went to a church, and you know, there's a big football game today in my state, and they were doing a tailgate at this church, and everybody's wearing their college colors and stuff, and I was in tears, and I asked for someone to pray with me, and you know, they could barely get a prayer out. And I explained just that I was living in my car and going through a really difficult time for the last few years, and they really offered no help. They did a quick prayer and a hug, and it was like, yeah, come later for hot dogs. And it's like, I feel like so stressed, I want to throw up. You know, I don't feel like eating right now. And just please pray for me. I'm really struggling right now. This is a very difficult journey. I'm in the parking lot right now of a church where I spent the night for part of last night. I was at another church until I just kept getting hit with directed energy whip. And had the ringing in my ear. I felt the jolt in my body. I could feel the heat aimed at my car. And so I gave it some time. I gave it hours. And I just finally left because I'd been there for a few nights. And I was getting just these terrible, horrific dreams. And so I come here, and within an hour, I got the ringing in my ears again. And now, the minute I show up in this parking lot, there's someone here to do the lawn. The lawn's already mowed. So now the guy mowed it to the point where it's too short and it's brown, but he's making sure he's just going back and forth in front of, my car to annoy me. And that's part of gang stalking. It's noise harassment. It's to let you know that you're never alone. You can never have any peace. You can never have any quiet. And there's something aimed at this parking lot now. So no matter where I find a location, I try to find it where it's surrounded by field and a highway and like no one around, so that you don't get someone aiming at you at close range. And they find a way. They will park right off to the side of the road, a little car, that's got something aimed at you. And I've seen where they've got like those things on top of their car for travel that carries different, things that people use, storage. And there was a trailer, a big white, like a truck with a big trailer on the back of it, leaving as soon as I was leaving this morning. Both of them, they went in separate directions. And these people are just horrible. I mean, I just feel like it's relentless. I feel like this is crushing my soul. And, we talk a lot about refining and going through the refiner's fire. And we talk about this strengthening us. But at what point is it like tipping the scale to just completely crushing you? And that's where I am now. And last night, I got angry. This is the second time now since being homeless. I've been homeless and living in my car for over 7.5 months now. And just, I'm only human. I'm not perfect. I try my best to lean on the Lord and go forward every single day. But this is Being a target is all day long, every day. No matter where you go, you get followed, you get harassed, you get things aimed at you, you get people monitoring you. You know, it's just, you have the story that no one believes. And it's just been my question with the Lord, like, you know, I've had already a difficult life since childhood. Like, now, you know, I'm completely dedicated to the Lord. I'm not living in sin. I haven't been for a long time. And it's like, at what point, you know, am I going to feel like I have a life where I'm not just on survival mode? When, if ever, am I going to have someone that loves me and accepts me in this life? Like, I feel like it's not going to happen. There's a lot of channels talking about kingdom spouses, and I want to believe that, but I'm to the point now where every door has shut in my life, and this channel is like one of the only open doors. But even on YouTube, it's like I'm so shadow banned. Even places where I like to go into live streams, I've got people saying things like, don't donate to people on YouTube that are trying to get money, that are like, oh gosh, what word did they say? They used some kind of word where it made it sound like we're just trying to scam people for money. I know I put my PayPal stuff out there and Venmo, and you know, I was on YouTube for 1.5 years before. I never asked for a dime. And even on this channel, didn't ask for a dime until people started asking me if I had, you know, some way that they could donate. And then it wasn't until I was homeless that I even put that information out there. So, but they were, you know, it's just been like, honestly, it feels like disappointment after disappointment after disappointment with so many people. There have been some really kind people through YouTube that I've met that have been very generous and kind, and just a lifeline of support. People who know what I'm going through because they're going through it as well. People that I respect, people who know what time it is. And, you know, I just, the number one thing I want to say in this message is, if you're going through this, I believe you, I support you, and I pray for you. And know that sometimes I make it look easy on this channel, but it's not easy. There are good days, there are bad days. They're all challenging, but some days are better than others, and some are soul crushing. And we wouldn't be human and go through all of this if we didn't have those experiences, because I have 100% faith in the Lord. I trust Father God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. I trust the Word of God. I trust what is happening, but also I do question, like, when is it enough? You know, when, like, I've already learned this lesson. Can I learn to trust? Can I learn to love? Like, why can't I learn those things? Why does it always have to be about strength? Why can't it be about love? You know, and I feel like, yes, there are so many channels out there preaching that that is the number one thing we need to focus on, is loving our fellow man. But they're also not going through this level of difficulty and persecution, it's easy to say, love your fellow man, when you're not being targeted and stalked and hunted. It feels like you're being hunted, and they're doing it for fun. They're doing it to monitor you. They're doing it to monitor your dreams. They're doing it to harass and to make you uncomfortable and to cause distress and to cause your life to fall apart. I mean, this is no joke. This is no joke. And so, yes, we should love our fellow man, but some of us are in an extremely challenging situation, and that takes effort on a daily basis to redirect your energy to get to that point. There are times when I just, want to curl up in a ball and cry for days and weeks, but I can't, I'm on survival mode, and just taking care of myself, my dog, my car, it takes a lot of effort, it's very difficult. And there are times when I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to worry about, is someone, following me? Is someone harassing me? Is someone poisoning my food? Is someone, XYZ? It's like, it's terrible that we have to live this way. And the number one thing that gives me comfort is that I know judgment will come to all of those people that are doing this. God sees every single thing. He knows our heart. And, He is testing us to see what our limit is. And I mean, honestly, like any good teacher, a student, can tell their teacher, okay, that's enough. I can't take any more. And that is kind of like been my prayer with the Lord lately. Like, I can't take on any more. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to snap. I don't want to get out of character. I don't want to just completely, like, when is enough enough? I mean, there's people getting murdered right now. There's people getting really killed in the streets in Israel. So I'm talking about like a long-term harassment that just doesn't go away, and it just keeps getting amped up. And as you change, it changes. As you modify your life, it modifies, and it's just constantly on you. It's not just like, something got bombed and you're just like thrown off, and that person's dead or they lost an arm. This is like a slow death. It's trying to kill your soul. It's trying to get you to question God, turn away from the Lord. And I know that it's amped up and relentless right now because we're so close to things happening. And I just feel like, they've just got people, like a team of people on these targets. And there've been a couple of times where I actually went to one of the church's parking lots 5:30 in the morning, and there's tons of cars there, and there was a meeting, and I kind of questioned what kind of meeting that was. And then a few times in a coffee shop, there's all these men with like ranger type haircuts, military haircuts, and it's all men, and they're just, strategizing there early in the morning over at Panera. And I wonder, is that a gang stalking meeting? Are they trying to, have this little think tank on how to mess with people? Because they do get together and discuss it. And It's just so sick, and it's so pervasive. It's everywhere you go. It's everywhere you go. Within an hour, within an hour, they got somebody there to mess with you. And it's just, I know the Lord was persecuted and hated, and we were told we were going to be persecuted and hated. You know, it's just, for some of us that started off with a rough life, it just seems like, okay, for how long? How long? You know, I mean, it's like when you're strong and you just keep, you know, facing it, and you just keep problem solving and keep adjusting, and it just keeps getting worse. Eventually, you either just snap, or it crushes you, and you just get angry, and you bawl your eyes out, and you get sad, and, you know, alone, and it's hard. And that's where I'm at right now, and I'm trying to get my spiritual grounding again, and just trust the Lord, that the Lord knows what is best for me, because this doesn't feel like this is best for me. You know, it's like, I understand a season of trials, but I'm 55, and it feels like my whole life's been a trial, and it just keeps getting harder and harder, you know, and I keep overcoming, and it's like, when is it gonna ever get easier, you know? And for those of you that have someone in your life that you can talk to and trust, some of you have spouses, or mothers or fathers or brothers or sisters that are going through this, and or understand it, and just know that you are extremely lucky, because there's a lot of us out there that don't have one single person, you know, in our life that believes it, you know, other than just like people on YouTube. And my YouTube friends and family, that's very special, but it's like a disconnect from my day-to-day, you know, like it's not someone I see, it's not someone I, you know, hug, it's not someone that, you know, opens up their life to me. It's you know, it's an arm's length kind of like brotherly, sisterly love. And there's a difference, you know. And just know that if you do have someone in your life, you're very blessed. I mean, the Lord must think we're really strong to go through this. I don't know. I know this is kind of a downer message, and I keep going on and on. Where's the silver lining? The silver lining is that I don't think we have long. I mentioned the Feast of Trumpets many times recently, and some of you could say, well, that already passed in September, and then some think, well, there's a month off, and now we're in that window of, could it be a Jubilee year because of the 6-day war 50 years ago in Israel? Is this now a Jubilee year? And does that make the Feast of Trumpets 10 days later? And so we're looking at that. And I think anywhere in the next week, things could happen in the next few days. I did have a dream recently where I was taking a class, and the instructor was my kingdom spouse, even though we haven't seen each other in I mean, I was in my 20s, so it's been like 30 years since I saw him, or no, maybe 20 years. But we don't talk or anything, so I don't know how he was my instructor. But he was saying, I'm sorry if, I've overworked you in this course. I want you to talk amongst each other. And I knew that we were targets in the class. I knew that we were targeted individuals. And so I was trying to talk to these different people, and I wanted to give this one lady a hug, and she didn't want me at her house. She wanted me to go away. And I was like, okay. And then the instructor, who was, this person I know, he wanted us to all get together and bring something in for the last day of school for this party we were having, and we were going to be making apple cake. And so the apple is in reference to Feast of Trumpets, and I think that might be the last day, that might be the last day of this class. And so if you're struggling, I get it. I am struggling, and I'm asking for your prayers. I'm praying for you guys. Please pray for me. I just hit a wall emotionally. It's just enough is enough. One of the biggest things I think about is, Lord, you want me to do this thing. You want me to, you've let me know that I'm one of the 144,000, and you want me to help people at end times. But how can I help people at end times when I'm feeling crushed and destroyed? And I know that the Holy Spirit will come over us and give us a new heart. And we'll have that double portion of love from God over us. But it's hard to imagine at this point, And sometimes I feel just my thoughts, just my anger over this situation, my anger with gang stalkers, my anger even with the Lord. How could you allow this to happen? The part where I get angry is I pray over myself. I pray against the enemy. I pray against demonic attacks so many times before I go to bed, while I'm listening to Christian music, even in my dreams, and it still happens. And it's I know the Church of Philadelphia has little power, but I just don't know why it's not working for me. I don't have open doors to sin. I pray against it constantly, and this stuff, when they enter your dreams, and when we're in a dream state, we're dreaming and we're vulnerable, and it's we do things, and it's they do so many things in these dreams. It's witchcraft, and they get you to eat things and drink things, and people are saying they want to marry you, and there's all these weird things they're trying to get you to do in these dreams, and you're just in this different state, and you're not yourself. You're yourself, but you're it's constant. When you're hit with this AI dream wave that they've got me connected to every night, almost. If it's not every night, it's almost every night. It's I have to go to a whole new place and, get some sleep. Otherwise, if it's a place I've been to, it's they connect with me. And it takes so much effort, It takes so much effort to try to find a place. And I know this sounds like I'm just ranting and complaining, and I am. But this is the reality of it. This is the reality of how difficult life is at end times for targeted individuals, for people who have, this calling on your life with the Lord. It's a struggle to understand, like, the refiner's fire. I liken it to my dog. Like, I know sometimes he doesn't understand what's going on, and it's like, I know we're not dogs, but for example, right now he's got an upset stomach, and so I've got his food that he doesn't want to eat because he's spoiled and he's old and he wants treats all the time, and it's got, some stuff on it that makes his stomach feel better because he's got an upset stomach, and he won't eat for 2 days, and he's wondering why I'm so mean. And then he runs out in the middle of the road today, which he's never done. I mean, I'm in this like park and there's all this grass, and he goes straight for the road. I mean, he just beelines right for the middle of a road. And it's like, so he got a spanking, which I don't ever do with this dog. It was just, I've been so upset and on edge, and just everything. It's just been like disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, and struggle after struggle lately. And I'm at my wit's end, so I'm going to do what I tell people to do all the time. I'm going to journal. I'm going to read the word. I'm going to listen to praise and worship. Ask for your prayers. I already went to the gym and showered today, and I ate some healthy food, and I'm having my coffee. But yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And that's all you can do, is just sometimes put one foot in front of the other. Life is a target. There are many people who are targeted individuals that try suicide. And, we know that will only lead to us going to hell. So I am not saying I'm suicidal. I am saying that if anyone out there is having those thoughts, just hold on for a little while longer, because God does love you. Sometimes we don't understand what's happening. We don't understand, but this is all going to fall away, and we will have the new heaven on earth. We have those promises. Believe in the Lord's promises. The Lord has shown me my house in heaven on Mount Zion. The Lord has shown me a lot of gifts, that the 144,000 will have spiritual gifts. And this window right now, between now and when things start, this is challenging. Every single day is challenging for some of us. And so this is a long race. This isn't a sprint. And, sometimes in a long race, you got to stop and, have some water, and just keep going. Just keep going. Even if you have to walk, even if you have to crawl, just keep going, and know that you're not the only one that's facing these difficulties. There are so many of us out there. The last count that I heard of was like there's 1 million different targets in the world, and that includes places like China, where they have the highest number of targets. There's a lot in the U.S. I think there's over 250,000 here in the U.S. I heard 400,000. It could be more than that now. And, I think a lot of the dividing between the the wheat and the tares is going to come down to people who decide to pay their bills by targeting their fellow man. You know, I'm not judging anyone. They're judging themselves. They're putting themselves in these positions because we're not promised tomorrow. If war hit us right now and you're targeting someone and there's an atomic bomb that goes off in your city, or you know, a tsunami or whatever the case may be, good luck with that. I hope it was worth it. You know, I hope it was worth it. I don't know what people are promised. I don't know if it's the great delusion on the Trump train. I know I have a friend here in my home state. She's a girl I grew up with from my hometown. She's facing a whole lot of trouble because she trusted in the whole Trump train. And she made the news. She made a national magazine. And it's not good. It's not good. I'm just going to say that and leave it at that. I'm not going to name names and give details, but there's a great delusion going on out there. And there's a lot of people that are just doing a whole lot of nonsense. They're getting promised all kinds of promises, you know, what's to come, what they're going to do, what position, what money, you know, and they're doing things they know they're not supposed to be doing. They know these things aren't right. There's no way you can, you know, do these things and think it's okay. You got to know that these things are wrong. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. We're at 42 minutes here. I know it's long. I apologize for it being so long, but hopefully this message helps someone. Anyway, God bless you, and I will pray for you. Please pray for me. Okay, goodbye.